And now live from our nation's capital, Washington, D.C., it's the Sunday Evening Masterclass. And now, our chief instructor, best-selling author, and lecturer, the Reverend Dr. Charlette Manning.
Good evening. Good evening. How is everybody this evening? I am so happy to be here with you here on Sunday Evening Masterclass on the New Thought Media Network. And I want to thank Pastor Michael for his continued support in helping me bring this show live to you. And I hope that you have an opportunity to share this with your family, your friends, your social media outlets, and what have you. I'm really excited about our show tonight. And tonight we're going to have my sweet baby boy. I call him, he's too young to be my son, so I had to call him my grandbaby. Dr. Phil Clancy is going to join us tonight. And I wanted to have him on next Sunday, just before Valentine's Day, because he is, in all of my opinion, he is probably one of, or not the best, my nose is itching. Excuse me. One of the best relationship guys out there. And the thing that I love so much about Phil is his no nonsense approach to the common sense relationship stuff. So I'm really excited to have him on tonight. And it's going to be a double your pleasure, double your fun kind of thing, because we're going to rebroadcast this next Sunday. Phil was unavailable for next Sunday, as most folks will be, since it is Super Bowl Sunday. So we're going to do this tonight, and then we're going to re-show it. So for those of you that get an opportunity, if you need some relationship advice and you like what you hear here tonight, you can let your friends know that we will rebroadcast this next Sunday. So the theme tonight is Valentine's Day. Is it overrated or underrated? You give us the answer to that. But before we get into that, I just wanted to spend a couple of minutes with you. I wanted to let you know that the second book in the series, Forgive, F is for Facing Your Fears, Releasing the Chains That Bind You. The hard copy is now available on Amazon.com, or you can email us here at the network, or at Charlette Manning at AOL.com, and we can arrange for you to get a hard copy. You can also download it on Amazon or to your devices. So the hard copy is out, and I gotta say, I'm really proud of this. You know, the best part about going through any life experience or any experience is the fact that you are able to share that experience. And when you have had the opportunity to, God, thank you, live as long and be as blessed as I have been, I now recognize that everything that I do, everything that I have learned has brought me to this moment to be able to share these opportunities, not so that you don't have your own life experience, because we all will have our own issues in life. Course in Miracles teaches us that you're either coming from a place of love or you're coming from a place of fear. But what it does not tell us is how our experience will be made manifest. So we know that we're going to all have our challenges, and the way the universe operates is that it will continue to give you opportunities to learn and grow through your experience until you get the experience. So you've heard the saying, the moment you set an intention, the universe conspires to assist you. Well, it does, but the universe does not differentiate between the good, the bad, or the ugly. So whatever you put out there, the universe's job is to answer your prayer. So like your mom or your grandmother used to tell you back in the day, be careful what you ask for, because the universe is always listening. So I wanted to share a little bit of that and to be able to share in the experience. And I like to get perspectives from different levels or different categories of people, life experiences. So the experience that you have as a 20-year-old is a whole lot different than that same experience as a 40-year-old. And hopefully along the way, you have learned and expanded your own spiritual maturity to a level where you recognize that every mistake is an opportunity for a retake so that you can discover and recover from those life experiences. So that's what we're going to talk a little bit about tonight. But we wanted to focus on this thing called Valentine's Day and why so much emphasis is placed on that when we should be in our hearts every day. Valentine's Day should be felt and celebrated every day. And that love and the consciousness of that I am should begin from the I am that you are. So if you're looking for completion and all of that outside of yourself, then you really aren't connected to that I am source. There's no one out there that can complete you. That completion must take place within you. So we're going to get the expert to talk to us a little bit later on in the show about that. But I wanted to bring in my friend, Pastor Michael, and say good evening. And how are you tonight?
Well, good. We just got done shoveling 15.5 inches of partly cloudy out of the
That is way crazy. And you said you had like 18 inches last week?
Yeah, we had 18
So
inches.
you got all of, oh my goodness.
I'm making the neighbors rich.
Wow.
Yeah, though we have a young couple that comes in and helps us out. So they dug us out. And
Wow. Wow. Well, I wanted to bring you in, especially to be able to congratulate you on 22 years. Michael and Diana Mangus have had Summit, what was called back in the day, Summit Spiritual Center. It is now Summit Center for Spiritual Living in Akron, Ohio.
That was to be our original name, was Summit Center for Spiritual Living.
Oh,
but
was it? Okay.
I got outvoted.
Ah, well.
and that was before CSLs, and that was still with centers. That was when it was they had the United Church of Religious Science and also International. So we started to brand ourselves differently. Because people were getting all freaked out about the science portion.
Yeah.
So thinking that we were like Scientology or something like that.
Yeah. Well, I wanted to congratulate you on 22 years. And, I don't think people really realize, unless you've been in the mix of the business side of having a spiritual center or church or anything, whatever it is you want, the business side of that is more than a notion. So being able to give people a place to come in spiritual community and share and grow and all of that is can be a very daunting task. And having been on that side of it, having worked with Marianne Williamson for 7 years at Renaissance Unity in Detroit, I know the complexities of trying to keep a church going. And I mean, just the fact that you guys are still there. Reverend Sylvia Sumter is celebrating. I think we celebrated our 30th year this year. So
wonderful.
Yeah. So I think that having a presence in the Akron community has been really great. So I had the distinct honor and privilege and pleasure to speak at the church via Zoom this morning. And,
wasn't that a lot better than coming through a snowstorm?
Well, I've done that For
which you've
you, I
done.
have
Yes, I
done
know.
that. Yes, got snowed in Akron, driving from DC to Akron some years ago. Got stuck in a snowstorm and was there, I think, for a couple of days or whatever. But hey,
Took you
no,
10 hours,
yes,
10 hours to get
yeah,
to Ohio.
yeah, yes, it did. But
The roads I would not go on in the
yeah,
snow
up
through
at that Pennsylvania, up
Turnpike.
in the yeah. But for you, I will do anything. You know that. You
Aw,
and Diana you have been so instrumental in supporting me in my work, and I'm so grateful for that. But one of the things that we talked about today, and my friend Cynthia Henderson, who is I think, one of the greatest meditators we have, New Thought meditators out there right now. She is absolutely incredible. And we talk so much about the power of our breath. And you were talking about that today. And it just dawned on me in the middle of that when you said me, it just was like that light bulb that went off in my head that said, wow, as God was creating, we look at this metaphorically or however, we see the image of God creating man and woman. And as God is creating them and he's molding them into the design of what it is that he wants them to look like and to be. And he lays them down and he blows the breath of life into their nostrils. And it dawned on me that's where love began. Not only did God blow the love, the oxygen, he blew love into the spirit of our I am,
mm,
so that every time, and we can't see air, we can't see oxygen, but we also know we can't live without it, right? So,
absolutely.
yeah, so it just dawned on me in the middle of that talk today, that it was just like, wow, the energy of the I am is the love. So as you were prepared, as you were doing the meditation before I began, you said, take a deep breath. Cynthia always does that as well. And take a deep breath and feel that breath go all the way down inside of you. And the moment you do that, I believe this awakening that I got today was that is the purest essence of agape love that you can feel. And
How wonderful.
you said, I am one with my source. And I said, that's it. When we say love casts out all darkness, love turns on the light. That golden elixir of light and love that permeates between all of us, that is I am one with the source. So I just had this thing today, and I just wanted you to know how much I appreciate the work that we're doing. And
And I'd like to welcome everyone to the Sunday evening service of Summit Center for Spiritual Living. As Dr. Manning is preaching the word tonight. Amen.
well,
So
it is, you gotta, the beauty of this outlet, being able to share in this net, and we talk about sharing the good news. Well, we should talk more about stuff like this than all the other stuff that's going on out in the world. And J6 and 1 6 and all of this other stuff and 900,000. All of this is, there's so much emphasis placed on the negative energy that we don't spend enough time, energy on the light of God and the love of God and the unfoldment of God in our lives. So I think this is the critical part about this network, and why I'm asking everyone to consider giving to your spiritual source. And this is one of the things Catherine Ponder taught, Ernest Holmes taught, Charles Fillmore taught. We need to tie to our spiritual source. And you cannot get this kind of news and this kind of sharing anyplace else but in a network format like this. So we ask you to please consider giving $1, a dime, whatever the case may be. Give to this source. We are so grateful for everything that you can do to help us continue the work here at New Thought Media Network.
Yeah, we have all kinds of opportunities that we've been getting almost daily. And again, as I have told people on my shows, is that we get cards and letters and emails from around the world.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that the time has come, especially from our brand of spirituality, which again is very empowering, that we have the opportunity again to take this to the whole world,
Yeah.
which we have never had before. Now,
Mhm.
I have a friend of mine, I wouldn't say a friend, but an acquaintance who has a shortwave program. I'm going to have him on my program,
Mm-hmm.
longtime minister. And he gets, the first New Thought program on shortwave. And so he's doing his part to go ahead and to take it to the world. But again, through internet, I mean, it's amazing. I mean, I'm able to, again, broadcast this evening from the concrete bunker.
Yeah.
So and that just amazes me. Before you'd have to go to the studio and have all the lights on and everything
Mhm.
else. And now you just, you do it at home.
Yeah. And I tell you that COVID has been a gift and a blessing to many things, and that there were so many outlets that were already prepared to receive something like this. For when I would come to Akron, you need a day to get there, a day to speak and do a workshop, and a day to go home. So you would do what you had to do in 3 days. You spend 2 hours or 3 hours, and the rest of the time is travel. So I love the fact that we're able to reach out and touch people all over the world. And I was on Laura Topper's show out of the UK and places like that. And she's going to be on the show with me doing women's.
You were on Laura's show?
Yeah, I was.
Wow.
She's got this magnificent award. She's great. She is absolutely
Isn't she wonderful?
Great. Yeah. And not only that, it connects us. Cynthia has been able to connect with Laura now. Phil is now, doing the relationship thing with us. And I'm telling you, I'm going to convince him to get on this network. I'm telling you, Cynthia too, because I think that there's so much that we can do. But we got to pay some bills. So
we're going to break?
Can you believe we've been talking? Yes, indeed. We got to pay some bills. And then we're going to have our wonderful, wonderful Dr. Phil Good, Phil Clancy, aka Dr. Phil Good too. And he's going to join us, and we're going to talk about Valentine's Day. Is it underrated or overrated, or just get his feelings? He's so profound in his wisdom, and I'm excited about sharing it. So
we're going to have a good time here in a few moments. I'm going to get out of the picture here. All right.
Yeah. Okay. So this is Sunday Evening Masterclass on the New Thought Media Network.
Thank you, Center for Spiritual Living Denver, for your continued support. Thank you, Center for Spiritual Living Midtown Atlanta, for your monthly contribution. Thank you, Center for Spiritual Living North Jersey, for your monthly contribution. And please help us welcome Om Center for Spiritual Living in La Mesa, California. Thank you for your monthly donation. Thank you, Center for Spiritual Living Seattle, for your most generous donation. And a special thanks to Hefferland Foundation for your generous technology grant. And Suze Ajit, thank you for your very generous donation. And a big shout out to all our committed donors.
Thought Media Network is on the rise. We're looking to grow with you. Do you have technical media experience? Or perhaps a desire to learn? Are you willing to volunteer your precious time and attention? We share this message to benefit all. If you possess a computer with a camera and a microphone, we will share our knowledge with you. Behind the scenes or being the star, let us bless our one. Contact us at info@ntmedia.org.
And welcome back. And I am so excited to have my Phil join me this evening from the ATL. Hello, my darling. How are you?
I am doing well.
Thank you for agreeing to be with me tonight since you decided you wouldn't be with me next Sunday for various reasons. And I totally and completely understand. How's it going, baby?
I am good. I have a lot of thoughts about our topic today, so I'm itching.
Well, so you just go ahead, jump on in there.
Hold on, what are we talking about again?
We're talking about Valentine's Day. Is it overrated? I read this thing and it said every year on February 14th, millions of people celebrate Valentine's Day. People believe that this day is the most romantic and wonderful time to make a declaration of love, to dance, to sing, to kiss, and feel love running through their veins. Everyone dreams of spending this day in a special and unforgettable way. They buy flowers, colorful ribbons, balloons, and stickers to decorate their offices, streets, house, and restaurants. I'm not the one who hates Valentine's Day, but I prefer to think rationally and remain reasonable in different situations. And I don't know if you remember when you were a little kid, do you remember being in like elementary school? Did they do that when you were in elementary school?
Yeah.
When you had the little Valentine things that you would give to your classmates and your teacher, they started programming them children so young it isn't even funny.
Of course. Yes, we did that. Where do I start? So one, we're gonna get into the Valentine's Day experience, similar to the De Beers and their diamonds. Valentine's Day is a scam. Okay. Now that we get that out the way. No, I mean Valentine's Day is good for what it's supposed to be, I guess. With all the things that you said, the love and companionship and all that. But I think now it's become a declaration to the internet now, in a lot of respects, as to say, look, y'all, I ain't single like the rest of y'all. Because because really all it is, one, this is a woman's holiday, okay? There's no Valentine's Day gifts exchanged for men. Sometimes you might get something every now and then, but it's not really a man's experience. This is for women. I'll tell you why. So one day when I was with Vanessa, this is my ex-girlfriend for people who don't know, but one day I was with her and she tells me that she doesn't care or like Valentine's Day. Okay. So I was like, good, me too. That we're on the same accord with that. So Valentine's Day rolls around and she got an attitude all day because I took this as literal and was like, okay, well, we don't have to do anything because it's just quote unquote another day. That's the wrong thing to do. So the men who are watching, don't ever believe your women when they say they don't care or nothing about Valentine's Day, because when they go to, like you said, when they go to work and they see the flowers getting sent to the job, and they see the women um, posting stuff about what they got, it automatically kicks in as to say, well, my boyfriend, husband, or whatever didn't do anything for me. And then you go down the rabbit hole of, does he care or whatever. And this is all stemmed from Valentine's Day. Now back to, is it overrated or underrated? I think it is holistically overrated, excuse me, because um, it's not really about much anymore. Like we can have a relationship for a year. Let's say perhaps our relationship has started in March. I've started my relationship in March. We could have had the best time ever, and then and then Valentine's Day rolls around, and then we have to sanctify it and do all the things that we're going to do with Valentine's Day. And then on the other hand, because then that relationship is good, but then on the other hand, you have a lot of relationships that are terrible. And for a lot of people, this Valentine's Day, puts a band-aid on an axe wound. And it's not, and for a lot of people, it's not real. It's like, I'm gonna treat you right for this one day,
Mm-hmm.
and that'll be it. So for it can be good and bad depending on your relationship. It can be a day of like, um you can use it as like a remembering our love type of thing. It's kind of like an anniversary, if you will.
Mm-hmm.
But I think a lot of people now just use it as a way to show off their actual relationship.
So, do you think that, all right, so they're in a relationship and it's like Christmas, where, the whole month of December, the kids are really good because they know Santa Claus is coming and they want to make sure that
Right,
they get really good gifts, or
right.
they get what it is that they actually want. So if they're making a list, checking it twice, gonna find out who's naughty or nice, the same kind of thing applies, right?
Yeah.
So when you say that it's a woman's holiday, I totally agree. And I think that there's enormous pressure put on.
Hmm.
I saw this couple in the restaurant last night. This guy had a beautiful bouquet of red roses, and he had his lady with him, and they were sitting down and having a beautiful dinner, and they're both scrolling on their phones. And
Yeah.
she looks like the last place on earth she would rather be was sitting there with this guy. And I said to them, I
Hmm.
said, those roses are so beautiful. And I mean, they were big, fat, big,
Uh-huh.
I mean, expensive roses. And here comes Michael. He's got something to say
You mean that they were having a romantic dinner and they were both
on their phones.
scrolling on their phones?
On their phones. So you know me, both of you know me. And I walked up and I went, excuse me. Now, mind you, I am the concierge at this restaurant, or the maitre d at this
Mhm.
restaurant. And I said, as beautiful as this lady looks tonight, and as much effort as this gentleman has put into making this a beautiful experience, both of you are sitting here on your phone.
Oh, so you made them aware.
Oh, heck yeah. I said, "Yeah." He says, "Oh, I was just taking her picture." I said, "You got 5 seconds."
No, but we're so used to having the relationship that we have now is the relationship to that
Mhm.
phone, and
Yeah,
not be able to at least put it on off or vibrate for an hour or two
sure.
to really be real. So that is my dating tip here for Valentine's Day. Okay.
Leave the phone at
If
home.
you go out for Valentine's Day,
Mhm.
leave your phone, leave it in the car or at home.
Yeah,
That is my tip for you. I'm going to get out of this.
That's
All right.
okay. But what I was going to say too, Phil, is they're taking pictures and all of this to
Hmm.
project this image on
Right.
social
That's
media.
exactly.
They are
Exactly.
having it. And this chick, I'm telling you, this woman was sitting, it was like she would rather be on the moon than sitting here in this space with this guy. And
Hmm.
this is at Morton Steakhouse. So we're not talking about someplace that, you're at the Red Lobster.
Right.
I'm just by comparison, I'm just saying this is not, this is a dining experience. And
Right.
and you're sitting there like, you had a sharp stick in the eye. You know,
I've actually seen something. Well, go ahead.
no, please.
I was just gonna say I've when I was in DC, I was walking by. I think it was what's that over by like Chinatown area, and it was during I think probably like spring because I was walking outside, and I remember a couple that basically did the same thing. But you know when you have like an outside seating
Mhm.
and there's like a rail on it or whatnot. So what I did was I just walked by just to see. I walked by them and I just stood there. I wasn't facing them, but I just stood there right next to them and nobody noticed. And I was just like, I mean, a lot of social media, going back to that, a lot of social media does play a part in Valentine's Day. And what's funny is that a lot of it just happens to be women. A lot of women are scrambling right now,
Yeah.
scrambling to find a Valentine, and not even like I say, not even just for not like a relationship type Valentine. They just want a Valentine for
Mhm.
somebody to come and court them, or they can. I even saw a joke about when you have those hotel rooms, whatever you have the rose petals or whatever, go in there. So somebody said, I need to find somebody that can give me a hotel room so I can film the rose petals and then leave.
I listen. I've
For
seen
real.
that because I worked in the hotel industry. In fact, that's how
Hmm.
we met. And I mean, we've had people come in and drape the lamps in red silk scarves, and I mean
Hmm.
change the bed linen or the spread on the bed, and
Hmm.
I mean create all of this imagery and take these pictures and then fold their stuff up and leave. I'm like, what the heck is going on here? It's the illusion of
Yeah,
all of
but it's a disease that the world has. And when you say disease is dis-ease,
yeah,
I've always remembered that.
yes.
But yeah, it's not real, a lot of it. Now, you do have some relationships that some people on Valentine's Day that have good relationships, they might get each other a candy and a bear and be like, "Well, yeah, we good with this."
Uh-huh.
Because they have an actual relationship. They have an actual friendship that
Mhm.
doesn't predicate on them actually having to show everybody everything.
Right.
Give if you're in
That's what I was going to say. You don't have to have your relationship doesn't have to be on display.
right. And then
Yeah.
some people don't even know their and this is on the men's side, some men don't even know their significant others good enough to know what to give them on this day. So they just do what everybody else has done.
Mhm.
Every
Mhm.
woman, despite what everybody believes, every single woman does not like flowers. So if she got flowers, I mean, they're okay. But I've heard some women say, "Oh, well, they're just gonna die anyway."
I, I'm
So, oh, that's you.
I'm one of them. I'm one of them. I just think it's absolutely the biggest waste of money ever. That's just me though. You know.
See, so right there, you got to know who you're dealing with, and a lot of
Mhm.
people are just, it's kind of like a going through the motions date, and then some people are spending everything they have for Valentine's Day,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
that's just ludicrous to me to be
Crazy.
trying
Yeah.
to trying to keep up.
They do it for Thanksgiving. They do it for Christmas. I mean, through this whole COVID thing, people had no jobs and they're going out
Right.
trying to figure out how to spend money on all these Christmas gifts. I'm like, excuse me, there's
Right.
something called gas and electric, food, and you trying to figure out how to go. And I think we've just been seduced by the program of this. But I
Yeah.
wanted, and we're going to take a break in a moment, but I wanted you to share the other side, the flip side of that, because the absence of a significant other can make you feel lonely,
Mhm.
and desperate. I think about this young girl that jumped out of the 29th story window. You can't just tell me that her depression and her mental anxiety came from her being 30 years old. I mean, that just doesn't comprehend to me. And
Mm-mm.
there is something in there that I believe that the emphasis that we place on these influencers, and I know you're one, but I like the work that you do, so I don't think of you in terms of a negative influencer. But I
Mhm.
think also that holidays like this, Valentine's Day in Detroit, they have one called Sweetest Day. So you got two
Mhm.
holidays, and when you don't fulfill the expectation of what you think Valentine's Day should look like, or you fall short in what the expectation that your girlfriend or your significant other may have around that, you can't, or you don't have anyone. There's a sense of loneliness. Valentine's Day can make you feel completely detached and lonely. It can make you feel guilty. I mean, there are negative forces also, because with every action, there's an equal and opposite reaction. So we
Mhm.
also know that there are some really, I don't have a significant person in my life, but I don't have to have a day to celebrate. I might wear a red dress or something like that, but I'm not looking for some kind of fulfillment outside of myself. But I know that there are a lot of young people. I mean, I look at these Kardashian girls who have just made their fortunes on sexual exploitation, but yet
Mhm.
and still they can't have a meaningful or successful relationship. Yet they have daughters that they're bringing in and grooming.
Right.
And I'm looking at this today as I'm going through in preparation for this. I don't know why it popped in my head. I just went on Instagram and typed in the little girl's name, Northwest.
Mhm.
That child has an Instagram page.
Yeah.
That is absolutely absurd to me. So how are we preparing these young girls for social acceptance, living in a world that judges you on how many followers you have and all of this kind of stuff. So when we come back, I want you to talk to us a little bit about the loneliness that
Mhm.
these types of holidays weigh in, because women, I think, are affected more about this, the loneliness and the guilt for not having someone in your life, as well as that. Okay, and anything else that you
Okay.
may have. Okay, so I want to just take this opportunity to thank you again, Phil
Mhm.
Clancy, aka Dr. Feel Good, on Instagram. Please, 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 if you want some of the cutest um, cliches and caveats around
Mhm.
relationship advice, I say go to it. I think at Dr. Feel Good too on
Mhm.
Instagram. It is hilarious to watch him do this. So this is Sunday Evening Masterclass with Dr. Charlette on the New Thought Media Network.
Thank you, Center for Spiritual Living Denver, for your continued support. Thank you, Center for Spiritual Living Midtown Atlanta, for your monthly contribution. Thank you, Center for Spiritual Living North Jersey, for your monthly contribution. And please help us welcome Om Center for Spiritual Living in La Mesa, California. Thank you for your monthly donation. Thank you, Center for Spiritual Living Seattle, for your most generous donation. And a special thanks to Heckerland Foundation for your generous technology grant. And Suze Ajit, thank you for your very generous donation. And a big shout out to all our committed donors.
And we are back with my special guest, Dr. Phil Good, who told me that he's going out as soon as we get off. Where you going this time of night? But I realized that there's a big difference in being 30 and being 70. Child, look, I got my PJs laying on the side of the bed. It's get off here. It's night. So we are, as Pastor Michael has just put up here, we are talking about Valentine's Day and the overrated and underrated, or the overstated and all of that. So we wanted to look at the flip side of that and have you talk to us a little bit about the adverse effects of not having a Valentine's Day, a Valentine's sweetheart, or not having the Valentine Day experience that you expected, and how the adverse effects of that can affect your relationship. So go.
Okay. Okay, so the other holidays you mentioned, Thanksgiving, Christmas, all those, I read something that talked about like the biggest holidays that cause depression, and those were pretty much all of them. You got Valentine's Day was number one, then Christmas, then Thanksgiving. Those were the top three, and I believe that somebody can be good single all year, and for a lot of, and since Valentine's Day, like we said, is a quote unquote women's holiday, most of the time it's the women who are affected the most, because depending on their age, they have to deal with their age and if they have kids or don't have kids. Some of them who don't may feel like, well, it basically just brings up a lot of stuff that they already been thinking about, but
Right.
this time just all at one time, and they think about the marriage, and then their parents or mother, whoever they have, ask them, do they have a Valentine? And they have to say no again. And that brings up more emotions of the opposite of self-love. And a lot of people just put too much emphasis on the actual day, and not enough on actually loving themselves in this instance. So I think for a lot of people, they have to take a step back, and if you aren't with somebody on Valentine's Day, you have to figure out something to do to make yourself feel better. And I'm not talking about post a picture with your dog, and because that was the theme for Thanksgiving, is when somebody didn't have a significant other for Thanksgiving and or Christmas, then they post a picture with their pet. No, just do something for you. And a lot of people need to stay off social media.
Yeah.
Like if you feel like that day is going to be too much for you, it's okay to not get on social media. I know it's hard because we're so now we're so programmed, and it's just second nature to us because everybody has their phones either in their hands or closely by them now, that it's hard to get off social media. But if that's a day that's gonna trigger you to feel a certain type of way, then that might be a day you need to get off of it, because the day will go by fast. The day will go by faster than you think, when you are off of it. Because I remember one time I lost my phone and it took a few days to get it back, and I was perfectly fine
Yeah.
without it.
Yeah.
It's not the end all be all when you don't have your phone, and then you realize that you are okay with it. So a lot of women, I would say, take a break,
Mm-hmm.
do some reflecting, not even on the specific subject, just within yourself, because
Well,
you have to start with, yeah, go ahead.
and it's interesting you say that, because I think that, again, it is that we feel that there's something lacking in our
Right.
life without, that we're looking, we hear that old saying, you complete me,
Mm-hmm.
rather than finding that within yourself. And, in my writings, I've talked about developing a spiritual toolkit where whenever there is when a challenge in your life, you have a resource or recourse by which you can go and do that. So, which brings me to when we first met,
Mm-hmm.
and you had graduated from Howard, and we call her Vanessa. That is not her real name, but we just call her that for privacy purposes. But we talked that, and I wanted to know, since she told you that Valentine's Day was not a big deal and not to place
Mhm.
any emphasis on it, and you did exactly what she thought, what was the reaction? Because there we have, she felt lonely and disconnected because you didn't fulfill what her image of what, or everybody else felt like Valentine's
Right.
Day should feel like. And then did you feel guilty as a result of that? And how did that, well, we know how the relationship ended, but how did that, what do you think that had something to do with the demise of the relation, or at least the deterioration of it?
Ye- yeah. Um, I guess that was part of it, but the immediately I didn't really feel guilt,
Mhm.
because because I remember, I think we were both off too for whatever reason. So we were both like in the house. So immediately I didn't. I think I even like made some breakfast or something like that and did that. But then the rest of the day was kind of like, well,
Icy.
we're not really we're not doing anything. And then there, I mean, when you're in a relationship and then you live with somebody, you can tell any little change that happens in their
Absolutely.
mood.
Yeah.
So you can, and as much as they love to say, when you say what's wrong, they say what?
Mhm.
Nothing. Guys, it's never nothing. Okay, it's never nothing. If they have some type of attitude or mood change, it's something. Now you just got to figure it out. But
Mhm.
me, I was still young and I
Mhm.
didn't really care. It was
Mhm.
not. It was just like a. This is what we decided we were gonna do. I'm thinking that you've kept your word in believing this too.
Mhm.
That's what my thought is. That we're
Mhm.
on the same, like I said, the same accord with this, but we were not. I was on a ship and she was in on a plane. Okay. And, and we might have been going to the same destination, but we were not going there at the same time.
Mhm.
So with that, I just had to learn that I had to um I guess read between the lines more,
Yeah.
I guess,
Yeah.
and not take everything for like a face value. Or and I also didn't realize that it may have even been something she was accustomed to, as to
Right.
not doing anything for Valentine's Day. So she may have just been like, again, programmed to believe that it was not really anything. But then when she got into this more serious relationship, she thought it made, she might,
Exactly.
yeah.
And because I know that about, this was the first time you had lived with someone and she had lived with someone. So the whole experience was different in the context.
Right.
So before we have to wrap up, I wanted to ask you this very important question. And I think that this will assist our younger viewers. What would your 33-year-old self say to your 20-year-old self now that you have had the experience of other relationships, not necessarily living with someone, but the spiritual maturity or the physical maturity, emotional maturity with relationships now? What would your 30-year-old self tell your 20-year-old self now to help you or to prevent you from making some of those unpleasant feelings occur back in the day?
Okay. So first, I'm gonna tell you the first response, and then I'll tell you the thought out response.
Okay.
First response would be, don't believe them. Okay, that's it. Don't believe them. Do not believe none of that. I don't do nothing about Valentine's Day malarkey. That's what it is. They all want to participate in Valentine's Day in some way if you are in a relationship. Okay, we got that out the way. So then I would have said, have a real conversation about Valentine's Day, like the experiences that we both had, how we really feel about it. Not going into like the true nature and history of Valentine's Day and saying that it came from this and then that, but really just as people, what it means to us,
Mm-hmm.
and are we going to allow this one day to to have this much weight in our relationship?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
yeah.
So that would, I think one of the questions, that I would ask as a coach and a counselor, the question I would say, if you could choose any other day to put emphasis on the relationship that you are having with a person, what day would you choose? It doesn't have to be February 14th. That's the commercial. If you feel that you need to have a specific day to honor your relationship, if you call it, your anniversary or the day that we met or whatever that would look like, to generate a conversation that says, if we need to have a special day that acknowledges the relationship that you and I have, let's pick another day other than February the 14th, because I think you get caught up in the muck and the mire of that social conscious, egoic, dysfunctional idea of what relationship should look like.
Right.
So I think sometimes when you can mix it up a little bit and create something different. What do you think about that?
Yeah, I mean, that's a good idea. And right before you said that, the first thing that came to my mind was a day like that, like an anniversary type day, should
Mhm.
not be trumped by Valentine's Day.
Right,
It
right.
just shouldn't, because there's no real significance for your relationship
Yeah.
for Valentine's Day.
Mhm.
Now, a day, like you said, a day that you can pick a day that you met, because I know women write these things down in their head. So you can pick that day or pick their anniversary. I don't know, pick the day that y'all first ate ice cream together. I don't know,
Mhm.
like
Mhm.
there's a lot more significant things that happen than just on Valentine's Day.
That are much
And
more.
then,
Yeah.
right, they're much more meaningful. And then the last thing would be, Valentine's Day shouldn't be that much out of the norm of your relationship.
Absolutely.
That's what it is. That's
Ab-
really what does it. Because my a good example is my sister. She's in like a new relationship or whatever. They've been dating for a few months, and they actually do something every Thursday. Like
Mhm.
we plan something every Thursday. We're gonna do a date night type of thing or whatever. And so a Valentine's Day wouldn't be this grand gesture that
Right.
is shocking, because your brain has to process what's going on now, because this is not what we're used to. We're used to arguing. We're used to doing all these things that are not beneficial to our relationship. So now, because we have this day, now we got to reprocess what our relationship really means, when y'all should
Yeah.
have broke up last month.
You're right. And you have treated me like a piece of crap for
Right.
a whole month. And now
Right.
you expect me to take you out and wine you and dine you and do all this because you forgot about Valentine's Day. Well, duh. And again, that's my thing, that I think that the emphasis isn't on what it should be on, and that's celebrating that heart connection, that you see the best in this person and they see the best in you. And you don't I would suggest for our audience consideration to pick a day that has no significance. It's not an anniversary, it's not it's not birthday or something like that. So we're getting the music. Boy, these people buy so
Are we Oscar off?
That's the theme song. Pastor Michael is about to cut us off. But you know what? I'm going to have you back again, because I love talking to you. It's such a amazing experience. I love you with all my heart and soul. Wherever you're going tonight, I hope you have a good one. Enjoy the Super Bowl next week. We'll have you back here as soon as we can. Anything you want to leave us with?
Happy Valentine's Day to everyone. Death to Valentine's Day.
Eddie loves you.
Love you.
So, thank you, everybody, for joining us tonight. Monday Evening Masterclass with Dr. Charlette on the NexUp Media Network. Have a great evening.
New Thought Media Network is on the rise. We're looking to grow with you. Do you have technical media experience, or perhaps a desire to learn? Are you willing to volunteer your precious time and attention? We share this message to benefit all. If you possess a computer with a camera and a microphone, we will share our knowledge with you. Behind the scenes or being the star, let us bless our one. Contact us at info@ntmedia.org.